Hi, I want to turn you on to a totally cool BI tool that I was introduced to not long ago, and it's actually been out for quite a while. Now, I can say that this probably fits most of our scenarios. It really doesn't seem where we all work. A lot of data is dealt with and crunched using Excel, and the ability to manage data, to crunch on and munch on data has become a really hot thing out there. And so I'm kind of aiming this video at people that work in the BI space, and also for analysts that spend a lot of time creating pivot tables. So if you create a pivot, if you're one of those people in Excel that create pivot tables, or maybe you work in the SSAS space, or any space where you have to summarize data, this is just a really awesome tool. The other cool thing about it is it's an Excel plugin for version 2010 of Office or higher. It's actually going to ship in Office 2013, and the price is right. The thing's free. A very solid tool. And so I want to kind of give you a quick tour of it. And so PowerPivot. So the idea is you go get your data, and there's just a variety of ways that you can get your data, and then you create a pivot table in Excel. A lot easier than having to flatten out your data and use VLOOKUP and all the various things that you have to do in Excel to take data and perform a pivot on it. So I'm going to click on the PowerPivot window, and it's going to open up the PowerPivot window, which is essentially the UI for the plugin. And so you can kind of think of it in classical, if we were talking in Microsoft jargon, this would be this area right here where we need to get the data would be your equivalent of some form of an ETL operation, but a lot easier than typically you would need to do. And just real quick, kind of walk you through some of the sources that you can connect to. Like I said, it's really rich and robust. You can get stuff from SQL Server, you can get stuff from Azure, which is their kind of cloud-based environment. You can get it from a warehouse, Access, Oracle, Teradata, which has become a very hot, high-end database storage platform, Sybase, Informix, DB2, any ODBC source. You can get the stuff from analysis services. If you're using Microsoft reporting services, you can pull data in from a report. Excel or text file, and in this example we'll just pull something in from a text file. So first thing I need to do is get the data. So I'm going to go find the data, and it is typically going to be delimited data, whatever the delimiter happens to be, and I have this autostats.txt. I'm going to open it up, and it's going to basically launch a wizard. And let's just change the connection name there. And here we're going to change the column wizard to a tab, which is how this data happens to be delimited. And it's going to load the data, and I can come through, make sure everything's just fine. You have the option here if it's just raw data and the first row doesn't contain the column headers. And what's kind of sweet about this is you can get delimited data from any source, whether you could create an SSIS package for doing it, you can have a host language program that someone's creating for you, and daily, weekly, monthly, whatever the periodicity that you need the data is, they're just going to run that program, and they're going to take the data and dump it to some location that you can come pick it up at. And so we're good. I'm going to click Finish, and it's going to import the data. And what you're going to see come up is a grid for our data here. We'll just click close. And what's really sweet about this is this thing is so robust, it can handle huge files. You can import data from a database, a delimited file. You can have literally 300 million rows of data in here. You can import it from a database off a specialized query. So if you're also an analyst or a business type person or even a technical person that knows how to use this tool and knows how to join tables in SQL, you can get your data through a query that way. Just very powerful, very flexible as far as things go. And now that we've done this, what we want to do is create our pivot table. So I'm going to click on pivot table, and it's going to open up a cell, and we can create a new worksheet here. So create pivot table for this worksheet on sheet 1, so it's going to create our worksheet here. So I'm going to click OK, and it's going to plug in this box here. Turn on the pivot table field, list the work with the pivot table. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a pivot table here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create what's called our measure for our pivot table, and for the values I want to get city mile per gallon, combined mile per gallon, and highway mile per gallon. And we'll just switch those around so you can see I can switch them around for the order I want. And also we don't want to sum. What we want to do is we're going to click on edit measure here, and what I want is an average. So we'll do that for each of these. Okay. Then next, what we need to do is what we want our measure for. And so we want that against and I'm going to do a twofold measure. So we'll pick the first one as vehicle class, and you can see I've already pivoted the data and got my results, so that in and of itself is pretty cool that we're able to munch on the data. And of course we can come in here and we can change the cells just like we were using. I mean, we're in Excel, so it's just like we're using Excel. But let's do a secondary now. Let's take and pick model here. So we'll draw model down here. And you can see how the data is now opened up with the averages. So that's kind of sweet. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end this video, and then we're going to come in and show you a couple other cool things. But in about 5 minutes hands-on time, beyond all my rambling and spouting of what a great tool it is, I think you've probably seen some of the virtues and power of this tool already. So we'll pick up again, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.